you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Folks, Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The earliest things that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. For 16 years, 2,800 episodes, we bring in the Chris Voss Show with all the most amazing minds, stories, and journeys on the show. And you can find all of them there. We're actually one of the few podcasts that not only is one of the oldest and still operating on a regular basis, but also we leave all 2,800 episodes up. So you can go peruse them. Some companies don't do that because it's expensive and they can only put up the last 300, but you have access to the whole database. And all we ask in return is you go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, Facebook.com, YouTube.com, LinkedIn.com, ending in /Chris Voss, one word, no spaces. Check that out. We have an amazing young lady on the show with us today. We're going to be talking about her book called Giving is Not Just for the Very Rich, a how-to guide for giving and philanthropy, out June 29th, 2012, by Susan Gitelson. We're going to get into it with her, find out her details and why she wrote the book and some of the different things about her. She is a person who offers reasons to give, considers values and concerns, and advises you on how to give wisely. She presents you with examples of the wealthiest donors, innovative givers, social entrepreneurs, celebrities, government officials, nonprofit professionals, volunteers, and social media networkers. Welcome to the show. How are you, Dr. Susan Gitelson?
I am alive and well and so glad to meet you.
So glad to have you as well, Susan. It's wonderful. Give us any .coms, websites, so wherever you want people to find you on the interwebs.
My email address is susangitelson72@gmail.com.
All right. And give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside this book.
That's what's so important. I was rereading it. The whole idea is to reach people to realize that everybody can be a philanthropist by caring for others, by listening to others, by speaking with others, and not just thinking only of oneself, because there are so many people who say, oh, I'm so lonely and everything. Why? Because they don't bother reaching out to others. And the others can be in your family, in your neighborhood, in your profession, wherever it is, or it can be on the world stage, because my field is international relations. So I love speaking to people from all over the world. I bet you do too.
I do. That's why I love the show and everything that I do for it. So what made you interested in writing this book? What was the proponent that's the aha moment, if you will, maybe, that was like, how to do this?
Right. Well, I started early because my father was very philanthropic, and he trained me because he didn't have any sons. He had another daughter, and he had a beautiful wife, but they weren't interested in all his activities. And I was. So he would get up in the morning before I would go to school, and he talked to me about his projects from the time that I was 9 years old. So I got a good beginning. And then he took me to some of his board meetings for his very important organizations. And they didn't laugh me out of place. No, they just, they encouraged me to ask questions and to interact with them. And what a way to begin. It was just incredible that I had this background. And my father had many philanthropic projects. He was always giving books and rare books and manuscripts to university libraries. So I was fascinated, and I saw this was the way to go. And then the big test came because he was able to acquire 2 incunabuli, that is, books published before 1500. And he said to me, here we have these 2 valuable books. Should we keep them, or can we give them to this friend of mine who's a library of an institution that needs incunabuli in order to get fully vested? What do you think? Should we give away something that's so valuable? And I immediately answered, yes, of course we should help a university library. That's the way to go. Well, I've been doing that ever since. And I thought that was such a good example.
Well, there you go. It's a good example of stuff and yada, yada, yada. So, when you wrote the book, why important is it important to give in your mind? Can you give us just a kind of a definition of why you feel it's important personally?
Because we need connections with other people. And at one level, it's very good to get along with the people one sees every day, in your family, in your building, in your profession, whatever it is. And on another level, I love being able to admire and interact with some of the top givers. The most extraordinary is Mackenzie Rice, who was the first wife of Jeff Bezos, who started Amazon. And he is living it up now, and he has a yacht, and he's joined the billionaires. But she uses the money that she gets from her divorce settlement to help people and to create new charities, especially for people who don't have very much, so that instead of staying in Manhattan, she's taking care of people in the Bronx and Brooklyn and all over New York City, people who don't have access to funds or books or anything else. And she does research and has a whole staff, and then she gives them gifts that make enormous difference to them in when they're young and then when they're older.
There you go. Giving is so important. I think giving helps you identify gratitude. It helps create abundance sort of mindset. If you're in a scarcity mindset, you're trying to keep everything to yourself because you're worried that someone will either take it or you won't have enough. But giving, I found sometimes my darkest and worst moments, sometimes my most broke moments, giving back, helping others, focusing on helping others instead of sitting in my little pity pool crying, really helps me get back on track. And it's kind of interesting. Sometimes the more I give, the more I receive. I'm kind of a believer in karma, but it sounds a little selfish to be like, well, if I give, then I don't know, I'll get something back. But no, I just found I feel better doing it. I feel like I'm contributing. I feel it is a bit selfish, but and then hopefully the person I'm giving, I'm lifting them. We live on a lifeboat moving through the universe right now, and everybody's on the same lifeboat. And if we start punching holes and treating each other poorly, then the lifeboat's going to sink. So we all got to kind of be stewards of each other and take care of each other, and try and make sure that we're all being lifted up, because we all have those moments where we fall down and we have issues and problems, and we need other people to help us sometimes.
This is terrific. You really understand, and you really live through it.
I didn't choose to, though. I wanted to live the good life where nothing bad ever happened. I haven't gotten that. I don't think anyone does. I mean, even the most privileged, seemingly privileged of people, they take in they seem like their lives are perfect. Movie stars, famous people, they're like, oh, those people are famous, they got money, and I'm sure they whatever. But no, man, hard times fall in everyone's lives, and there are times where we lean on other people, or we need help from other people, or we need to ask for help from other people sometimes, so that we can lift everyone's boats. Everyone needs a hand, and thinking that maybe your turn on the hard times is going to come, it's a bit delusional. So there you go. What are some other methods that you give in the book on how I can work at being more philanthropic and giving? Maybe, if I'm not, even though I'm not independently wealthy, what are some ways that I can accomplish that if I'm listening in the audience?
Well, this is where the book becomes a real guide because uh, everyone has a handout. Give me, give me, give me, give me. But we
Mhm.
can't give to everyone, and we shouldn't give to everyone because not everyone deserves it. So here
Mhm.
in the book, I give categories what we can give for, and then there's a whole section of um, how can we evaluate charities because everyone's going to say, give me, give me, give me, give me,
Oh yeah,
but not everyone deserves it.
yeah. And I know a
Um,
lot of charities. There's a lot of people that try and claim to have charities, but they're not 503. What is it? 503c registered with the IRS, so they're not official charities. So there's kind of some questionable stuff going on there, maybe sometimes.
right, and that's why my book is it's concise, but it's very much to the point. And we have a chapter called "How to Research and Evaluate Potential Giving Opportunities."
Ah,
What are the guiding principles for giving wisely,
mm-hmm,
and uh, which are the main watchdog agencies? If you suddenly decide, oh look, I made some money, I want to give it away, uh, it takes more than that, and that's
mm-hmm,
why there are existing watchdog agencies that can help us so that we don't fall into a trap of giving to somebody who says, give me, give me, give me, but really
mm-hmm.
wants the money for himself.
Yeah.
So,
I always ask people, I'm like, are you registered? Are you registered 503c? What's your number? Let me see proof of it. I mean, any 503c is going to have their proof on their website. They're going to show their stuff, yada yada yada. And so, yeah, it's an important factor because, yeah, I've seen people that take money. I've seen scammers online that do different things, and there's this, whatever. And so, you don't want that because, like you say, that person's just going to pocket the money and all that good stuff. So, yeah, it's really important. What are some other aspects in the book maybe we haven't talked about?
well, we before we turn too quickly to something else, uh, the book is a handbook that can really help you so that the main watchdog agencies are Charity Navigator, Better Business Bureau, GuideStar, great nonprofits, and the independent sector, and on and on and on. So it's all here. That's why you have a handbook that you can turn to. How can I
Hmm.
evaluate all these people? And that makes life much easier. At the same time, we all have our interests. So in in the uh, in the in the book, um, we want to deal with you work through your place of worship, which has the widest variety of good causes, or um, through uh,
Through,
right. I better go to the book. That's why I like having everything in writing.
mhm.
Um, Different kinds of impassioned giving for maximum effect.
Mhm.
Okay, who are the wealthiest donors who are pace setters? And you've heard of Bill Gates and
Mhm.
the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Warren Buffett and lots of other good people, George Soros, Michael Bloomberg, and Pierre Omidyar, and lots more. and they're all listed here, so that it's easy to follow up if you want to. So that, for example, the former mayor of New York, Michael Bloomberg, has also been very important for the internet and for investments and everything. And he still gives to others whenever he can. And we have a list of all kinds of good people.
All right. And those people you can hit up for donating to or something like that? How does that work?
Well, you can hit them up, but you could also recommend them or be willing to give to them for the causes they are promoting, because you know that the money or whatever else you give them will really get to the right people and won't be squandered, which is very important.
Yeah, very important. It's not squandered. So there you go. There you go. So as we go out, give people a final pitch out on where to pick up the book and find it and all that good stuff.
Oh, sure. Well, Amazon and Barnes and Noble and your local bookstore and the people you've come to rely upon through the years for getting good advice. And they list the book, and it's available. And it can open up a whole world for people who don't yet have experience.
There you go. Great stuff there. And give us your .coms, emails, or wherever you want people to be able to reach out to you on the internet.
Well, my email address is Susan Gitelson 72 at gmail.com. That's for Google. And Google lists so many things in so many categories, and it's a really good aid. So when you have these instruments and avenues for checking things out, it just makes life so much easier. And then you can concentrate on what you really want to do, which is to help others.
Help others and lift others. It's always good. Giving makes you feel good. It's great for your mind, because your mind thinks you're in an abundant state, instead of being selfish and stuff. And so you don't have to give money too. That's probably an important factor. You can give work and help. I go downtown and do a lot of photography, street photography downtown in my city, and I usually buy a couple homeless people lunch. I get them a warm meal. I don't give them Cokes. I give them a water, or I'll pick up they're probably low on electrolytes, so I buy them some electrolyte water there, and the Pedialyte. That's what I'm thinking of. And then I get them a couple warm meals each, so that they have something that's warm to put in your belly. Because when you're sitting out in the cold, sometimes having something warm can help. But I tend to like to do that whenever I go downtown. Usually bump into a few homeless people that are trying to survive, and it's just a simple, easy thing you can do. It doesn't cost a lot of money, or you can give your time. I've got friends that they go down to homeless shelters, and they do haircuts and do different things to just give their time and the value of their work to people. And so you don't have to have money. When I was a parent, my kids when I was a kid, my parents would take us to old folks' rest homes, and we would sing and play piano and do different things, interact with the people that were in the rest homes, so that they had some action, they had some energy and environment and good people coming through, and they would get visited. A lot of people don't get visited; they get put in these homes, sadly. So there you go. You don't always have to have money to give. Order up our book, folks, wherever fine books are sold. Giving is not just for the rich. It's let me recut this. Giving is not just for the very rich. A how-to guide for giving and philanthropy, out June 29th, 2012. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Susan for being here. We really appreciate it, Susan.
Well, Chris, you are terrific, and you understand the message so well and express it so perfectly. So keep it up.
There you go. You can hire me as a spokesperson for your book.
Why not?
There you go. There you go. Well, thank you very much, Susan. Thanks to us for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTok, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.